Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 20 of Chance Ball, and this one is titled Honwi Baguette. The lady seated the two of you, and menus were brought out. So, what do you want? Dabi asked as he looked over the menu. He hummed undecidedly, eyes darting around the menu as he read the food items. What the hell's that foie gras? Dabi suddenly asked. What the hell? I just want some nuggets. Same, he said with a chuckle. I can't even pronounce half of this stuff. You know what? Screw it. Let's just get drunk on the house wine and get nuggets from down the road. Dabi said as he slammed the menu shut. I'll call for them. He raised his hand and a pompous waiter arrived to take Dabi's order. Yeah. Can we get a bottle of the house red? Dabi asked as he slung an arm back over the back of his chair, head rolled casually to the side as he eyed the waiter. Oh, of course, monsieur. And to eat? The waiter asked. Yeah, we're good for now. Dabi replied with a smirk. The waiter nodded and walked off, whispering something to another waiter nearby as he went to the bar. Yeah, I bet he'll ask for ID. Dabi grunted. I left mine at the villa. Same, you replied. When he comes back, I'll grab the wine and we'll make a run for it, yeah? Meal's already been paid for anyway. Dabi commented as his turquoise eyes watched the waiter return with a bottle of wine and 2 glasses. You smirked deviously and pushed your chair out a little so you'd be able to make a quick escape. The waiter walked over and placed the glasses down on the table before showing Dabi the wine label on the bottle. Yeah, fine, Dabi replied gruffly. Pardon, monsieur. May we see some identification? The waiter asked. Yeah, sure, Dabi replied as he reached into his back pocket. The waiter looked away for a split second, and in that moment Dabi grabbed the wine bottle from the waiter's hand and took off. Go, babe! Dabi yelled as he took off with you right behind him. Stop! The waiter screamed at you both as he bolted for the doors and raced outside. Yeah! You screamed with excitement, laughing loudly as the two of you ran back to your villa. Worth it! Wine and nuggets night! Dabi yelled as he ran. Because we're classy like that! You commented as he sprinted beside him. Hold still! Dabi said sharply as he bent his lips down to your bare stomach. It tickles! You screeched with laughter, pushing his head away. I want my nuggets, Libero. Dabi growled as he tried to grab the nugget in his teeth. You and Dabi were on your second glass of wine and were starting to feel a lot looser. He'd bought some nuggets from a nearby corner store and you were now eating nuggets off each other's bare bodies. That's my nugget! You screeched as he pulled one out of the box and went to eat it. You got up and pounced on his chest, grabbing his hand and eating it out of the palm before giving him a wide grin with nugget between your teeth. You're so frickin' sexy, he replied as he did a half sit-up and kissed your crumb-laced lips as you shut your mouth and munched on the nugget. Marry me. Yeah, one day, you replied through a mouthful. Where would you want to get married? I'd just elope with you, Dabi replied as he took a nugget from the box. I thought you were going to say at the local KFC store or something, you replied with a laugh, finishing off your mouthful. That's a plan B, if eloping doesn't happen, Dabi replied with a smirk. You reached for your wine glass and took another sip, smiling down at your man under you. Another 2 hours passed and you were both well and truly drunk, singing and laughing at absolutely nothing as you lay side by side in bed. Wait, Dabi said seriously. Have you ever thought that the best part of the cucumber tastes like the worst part of the watermelon? You stayed still, staring at the ceiling. What the heck? You whispered in surprise. Crap, you're right. And if Cinderella's shoe fit perfectly, how did it fall off? He asked seriously again. You cackled. How high are you? You laughed. A little over 6 feet, he said bluntly. You cackled again and rolled onto your side, kissing his gnarly cheek. You pulled back and looked at his scars, running your fingers along the keloid lines. I really want to know how he got these, but I won't ask. You thought as you pulled your hand away and snuggled into him, ignoring your desires to ask. He did it, Dabi suddenly said in a low voice. Who did? Who did what? You asked as you pulled your head back and frowned at him, confused. He tied me up in the shed, Dabi said in a raspy, emotional voice. Then he poured petrol all over me. Oh my gosh, Dabi, you gasped, suddenly realizing he was talking about how he got his burns. No, please don't continue. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, you wailed softly as you climbed onto him and kissed along his lips and all over his scarring. I'm so sorry you did that. It was your dad, hey? Dabi nodded stiffly, allowing you to kiss his scars. You wrapped your arms around him and kissed him all over while he just lay there occasionally patting your head. Come here, he said after a while, gripping your chin to pull you down onto his lips again. I don't know if it's the wine talking, but you're frickin' amazing, and I love you. His brutal honesty broke you, and you cried as the two of you kissed messily, rolling on the bed as you exchanged who was on top. Around 3 a.m. you both fell asleep, completely naked with an empty wine bottle on the table nearby and nugget crumbs in the bed, with one last nugget in the box at the end of the bed. The next morning you woke to someone banging on the door. Coming, Dabi grunted as he got up, completely naked as he walked to the door. Dabi, your clothes, you called, gripping your head as he sat up quickly. Huh? Oh, crap, he grunted as he quickly grabbed for a lounge cushion to cover his front. No, what the heck? You laughed. Don't open the door. What's up? Dabi grunted as he opened the door, pillow over his crotch. Oh, God, the lady gasped as she quickly turned away. You were supposed to be out by 10 a.m. and it's now 12 p.m., the lady said sharply. Please put clothes on and leave so that we can set up for the next occupants. Yeah, keep your pants on, he grunted as he rubbed his eyes sleepily with the back of his hand. We'll be out soon. Sorry, we'll leave, you said quickly as you stepped in front of Dabi, pulling your shirt on. We're just packing up, ready to go. The lady glared at you, and then Dabi. If you're not out of this room in the next 10 minutes, we'll charge you extra, she said darkly. And what if I drop the pillow? Dabi said with a devious smirk. Don't you frickin' dare, you burnt nugget headass looking piece of... You seethed as you grabbed for the door to close it in the lady's face. We'll be out ASAP, you added to the now heavily blushing attendant as you quickly shut the door on her. She totally wanted to see me, Dabi said as he dropped the pillow in front of you. Can you please get some clothes on so we can get the frick-frack-knick-knack out of here? You asked with an aggressive sigh. Sure thing, baby cakes, Dabi said cheerily as he turned and strolled away, bare-ass cheeks on show. Show me how those cheeks clap, Daddy, you called to him as he sauntered away. It'll cost you more than $1, honey, he called back over his shoulder as he raised his middle finger up so you could see it, walking to his suitcase to get some clothes out. Oh, man, I've got a killer headache, you groaned as you walked over beside him and started chucking things in your bag. 15 minutes later, you had successfully gotten yourself and Dabi dressed and ready to leave, and you pushed him out the door before you both headed to the bus stop. Hey, come home with me, Dabi said suddenly as you walked side by side down the road. I need to go home so my parents can see I didn't die over the weekend, you replied as you jabbed him in the side with your elbow. No, I want you to meet Mum, officially, he said, half mumbling from embarrassment. Oh, you said as you looked down at the ground. Yeah, the last time I met her she wasn't conscious. Sorry, that sounded bad. No, it's all good, Dabi grunted. Anyway, just come for dinner. Oh, you teased. Are we serious, Dabi? Meeting the parents is a big step. I'm trying to do the right thing, but if you're going to be a sarcastic little piece of... then I'll drop it, he grunted, embarrassed that he was being so formal and you were making fun of him for it. Don't you get your pubes in a knot, you snorted. I'm just not used to you being like this. It's cool. I'll come home with you. But then you got to meet my parents. But don't embarrass me, okay? That's my job, though, he replied. I have to make them think that we're the worst match ever. Oh, God, you whispered in a vexed tone. On the bus ride home, you texted your parents that you would be home a little later because you were meeting Mrs. Todoroki, formally, and then asked if you could bring Dabi over the next day so he could meet them, formally, which they agreed to. Okay, all done. You're meeting my folks tomorrow, he said as you put your phone away. Sweet, he said as he slung his arm across your shoulders and pulled you into his side, resting his chin on top of your head as he stared out the bus window. That was a horrible weekend, he whispered. Yeah, totally, you replied as he smiled and buried your face into his shirt. We only did it twice, he whispered. But we got nuggets and free wine, you whispered back. True, he said in a hushed tone. It was only half crap then. And we got to be with each other the whole time, you added softly. Okay, it was only a quarter of crap. And I got to see your bare ass. Okay, I forfeit. It was an amazing weekend. For you. You punched him in the ribs. You hopped off the bus and headed back to Dabi's house with him, getting more and more nervous as you approached his place. It's just my mum, don't stress, Dabi grunted. I'm not stressing, you pouted, but this is like, I don't know. I want you to meet her properly, at least once, before we elope to the Bahamas, he said sarcastically. Okay, whatever, he replied, with an eye roll, before following him up the steps to his house. "Mum," he called out as he entered. "I'm back. I got Yin with me." "Yin!" you heard a voice happily call from inside the house. "I've been wanting to meet her. It's a pleasure to finally meet you properly," a kind-looking grey and white-haired lady said as she walked out of the room and down the hall. "Mum, Yin, Yin, Mum," Dabi said, sloppily gesturing to each of you in turn. "Geez, such a beautiful introduction, Dabi," you said sarcastically with an eye roll, then turned your attention to Mrs. Todoroki. "Hi, nice to meet you properly," you greeted with a smile. "Same here, thank you for everything you've done for my boy," she said as she gave Dabi a sympathetic look. "Pfft, nah, it's me that's done everything for her," Dabi replied dismissively. "She used to be this quiet little kitten, and I turned her into a tiger." No. If I remember correctly, I told you to shove off the first time I met you," you retorted with a wrinkled nose. "Oh, yeah, do remember that," Dabi replied thoughtfully. "That's when I fell for you." "Idiot," you whispered, face tingling. Mrs. Todoroki chuckled softly as she looked at you both. "I can see you both getting along just swell," she replied with a smile. "Come and sit down for dinner. I've already made something," she said as she ushered you both into the dining room. After dinner, Dabi walked you home. Mrs. Todoroki was a really sweet lady. She had her own dark past, but she seemed to be doing quite well, and she appeared to like you too, so that was a plus. Oh, now how's it going to go with Dabi versus your parents? Stay tuned for tomorrow and we'll find out what happens then.